Here's how the capsule in your condenser microphone changes polar patterns. Two ultra-thin membranes called diaphragms are placed on either side of a single polarized backplate, creating two variable capacitors with a shared plate. If this is confusing, watch my last reel. The backplate and front diaphragm are set at fixed bias points, let's say 50 volts and 0 volts. This makes a 50 volt potential between them. Now we'll vary the voltage on the rear diaphragm. If we apply the same polarization voltage to the rear diaphragm as the front, then the potential differences are exactly the same. That means sound hitting the front diaphragm will create the same electrical signal as if it hits the rear diaphragm. This makes an omnidirectional pattern. Now if we change the voltage on the rear diaphragm to the same as the backplate, we have 50 volts of potential on the front capacitor, but 0 volts on the rear. When the diaphragm moves, it won't generate any signal because there's simply no energy difference. That means only sound hitting the front diaphragm will create a signal voltage, making a cardioid or unidirectional polar pattern. Finally, if we change the polarization voltage on the rear to be double that of the backplate, we now have a 50 volt potential difference on the front, but a minus 50 volt potential difference on the rear. That means that a sound wave hitting the front diaphragm will generate a signal that's 180 degrees out of phase with the same sound wave hitting the rear one. This gives us a figure 8 polar pattern. The null points on the side of the pattern are generated because the sound is hitting both diaphragms equally, and a push and a pull generated equally equals 0. Join Winnie and I next week when we talk about why omnidirectional using this setup isn't quite omni.